All right, welcome to the Account Reconciler Open Beta. There's a fair bit to this. Even though it's a simple tool, I still wanted to take you through a quick little training session to get you up to speed. Like any tool, there's always the nuances of learning what it means and how it all comes together. Now, what does it mean to be an open beta? It means that we're feature complete. Not to say we won't make more changes, but generally speaking, we're happy with it. It's nice and stable. The odd bugs will still come up. That's just the nature of it. But for the most part, it's nice and robust. I think we're even going to do another release tonight with a couple more tweaks of a few bits and pieces, as we'll probably do over the next little while. So today, my aim is just to take you through a few examples so that you know where you can start to have a bit of a play yourself. So we've already set up Volantics. We've already set up some accounts, but I'm going to set up a few new ones in a moment. But the layout of this is it's just seeing all the accounts and their verifications and any links. So if it's blue, it's not verified yet. If it's green, it is. If it's red, it was, but no longer is. And you might link back to a verification, and there might be some commentary wrapped around that. Now, I can extend my date ranges in here to have whatever date range that I want. So in this case, I might go back to, I reckon it was December. Oh gosh, that's too far. Our demo data goes right back. You wouldn't normally have this many, I wouldn't hope, unless you're doing a big cleanup job. If I hold my shift key down and scroll my mouse wheel, I can keep scrolling back and back and back. And you can see right back to where our starting point was, or I can grab my scroll bar down the bottom here. Now we deal with all the accounts we're reconciling. You have as many accounts as you like here. We've got the method and frequency. Frequency is really obvious, how often you want to reconcile. And clearing is just a methodology. So more often than not, it's mostly going to be about clearing accounts, your suspense disbursements, PO8 withholding, super payable type accounts, where you're expected to return to zero at some point, or it's a value you can verify against in that sense. A balance is just that. I want to verify that a balance is accurate, and I'm not trying to clear entries off. I'm just trying to confirm that a balance is correct. And often it's not a reconciliation process, it's just a matching process. And for example, against an equipment finance schedule. So a starting point is to add more accounts in. And here I can type the name of it, or I can, so in this case, it's going to be super payable. You can see the various settings down here on the left-hand side. You can edit them. I believe there's a bug here, so don't bother editing them right here, right now. But once you have put it in here and you hit close, it'll then appear in our list over here. I don't need to change any of the settings. I'm actually quite happy with what the settings look like right now. I can either click on here and the account name, and it takes me to the latest reconciled period, I should say, or I can click down here as my starting point. Now, because this is the first period after the establishment date, we're just going to verify the balance. This is really easy. All we're going to say is what numbers add up to the balance here. Now, this seems really crazy obvious, all right, because obviously it's just those two entries. But if you've got a more complicated set of accounts like your disbursements, where there's timing differences, you're going to find you have to select a bunch of accounts, which I'll show you when we do disbursements afterwards. But here, I've selected them. It's what I expect it to be. And so I'm just going to verify that those two relate to the uncleared entries at the start of the January period. Now we go on to do some reconciling. And so in an ideal world, I'd select all these and I'd match them as reconciled. But I can see straight away that we're not returning to zero here, which might mean we've got some issues to fix. So I'm actually just going to jump here and I'm just going to look at the ledger. So this is just like a general ledger or account transactions report in Xero, where I can see all the transactions, whether they've been verified or reconciled or not. It just means I can see stuff, I can filter and find stuff, I can jump to zero as required. And straight away here, I can see it does actually return to zero, which is great to see. So what I'm going to do now is jump back to my reconciliation period. Let's go back to January, and I actually know that's actually correct. So I'm just going to verify that for now before I go to February. I'm now going to select those values all the way back there. You can see at the bottom here is saying my net selection is 20. So when I do select that, I'm now verified. I'm going to use my keyboard shortcuts. That's what these little squares down the bottom mean. So hit reconcile. And I know the rest are going to reconcile. So I'm going to hit A to select all, R to reconcile. And it verifies as zero. And I'm going to leave a short note. Looking fab. If you don't know the keyboard shortcut, Windows key full stop gives you your emojis. Super important. Now, this is like any other commentary area. I can actually add new comments and have a full string of correspondence. So if people leaving comments, they'll just end up with a whole conversation stream in one place. I'm not going to do anything else to verify this one. I can, if I want to, link it back to something in the document management or post a random journal to fix something. I can do that all from here as well. But that's all I need from there. I can then export that report. Now, this is a bug. We know about this one, showing what numbers reconcile back to. You export that to PDF or to Excel. All right, now let's go into a balance sheet one as well. So here we're actually going to do the 924, go HP. That will appear down here. And this is actually a balance sheet one. And I'm going to start verifying that from all the way, if I go the right direction, from June. All right, so all you can see here, so if I scroll through here, you can see it's just going to draw a line in the sand, essentially, where we're going to start picking up reconciling from. And because it's a balance, it's going to be a little bit different, because we are going to assume that you'd already verified. That's why you chose last reconciled period. It's going to assume that you're verified at that period. So it's actually filled the values in, ticked it off saying, this is clearly all good. We're happy with that as our starting point before we hit continue and we go into our first period. So here you can see the entries that AccountKit's already posted. I can see the spend money. So the process in here is very, very simple, because all we're going to be doing is verifying back against an entry. And so I could, let's go to equipment finance. That's this one here. I can see it actually already balances as at July, but I can export that to PDF. Beautiful. And I'm also going to grab the link up here because that could be helpful as well. Back over to here. So I do have an option to do a few things. Now, if I get this out of the way, I can link to a web address. So I can actually just drop that into here. Collect EF schedule. So I can click to it from there. Or I could stick it over here. I can link to a file. In this case, it should go to Ballantics and browse through. And we did download it. So this is looking inside Google Drive at the moment. So I'm just going to drag that into there. Cool. Now I've selected and verified that there as well. So we've got a few options about how you can link to verification. So I can come in here and preview that in here just to make sure it's all looking good. So I want to verify that. Otherwise, if there was something wrong in here, it'd be pretty obvious. It would stand out like a sore thumb, right? So you can just select it in Xero, move it, resync our data in here. Otherwise, it is just basically saying, yep, I'm verified. That's all good. All right, so we've now dealt with those two. Now we're going to go to disbursements. This is the interesting one. So disbursements is a challenging one because you can have a lot of stuff going on. So I'm just going to duck right back into here. And what we can see, if we go right back, is, looking for my, here we go, update opening balances. So this is already has, I've already verified the opening balances, but if I open this up, you can see there's just heaps of transactions. So I've actually gone back in time because I knew my balance is $550, but I wasn't sure what it was. Then I'm not really verified. So here I actually know that these transactions contribute to my 550. So it's the uncleared entries as at the end date. So when I hit continue on that, those are the transactions that will appear above in here. You can see they're all just appearing up top here. Now, that should be a little bit more readable. Just duck back over here and go this way. You can see we've got unreconciled entries sitting up above here. So it's an easy enough process to go through and reconcile. There's actually some great keyboard shortcuts. So you can see at the top here, we've got F for filter. So I can type F and I could say, who am I going to reconcile here? It was Cusack. So if I type CUS, enter, and I hit A, it selects all, R to reconcile, F to go back to here, and escape to clear it. So it's a keyboard shortcut's really, really friendly. So often there are things that aren't necessarily matched easily through other raw search, but otherwise your processes literally come in here, and I'm just hitting the R key. I could hit it down here as well, but otherwise, what am I looking for? Bull Super Fund. I might get rid of some of these ones as well. So I know these should probably, and I'm watching this number down here as well, because I know it's going to be some random combination that's going to get me to the number that I want, like that. So I can reconcile that, and I've got the Bull Super Fund, reconcile that, and I've got those two. Awesome. So what's left is $176 worth of stuff that hasn't yet reconciled yet. So I'm happy with that. So we're going to get to the next period now. I've got those 3 entries that still aren't reconciled yet, but this is where we can sort of grab these and grab a bunch of them and mark them as reconciled. And you're sort of chipping away at this sort of stuff. And I actually find it easier to use the keyboard shortcuts to find stuff than it is to do this. So Sue and David, oops, so that. And we're slowly getting rid of them now. Those two. It's actually kind of fun, therapeutic even. Now we've hit a problem because clearly the Conway Super Fund doesn't match. You can see they don't match. So that would be my first call to go, why doesn't that clear out? So I'll just select that transaction in Xero. And what you're going to see, it's pretty obvious, is they've applied GST on that particular transaction, which is why it's showing 100 and 110. So literally all I've got to do here is fix it here, come back to here, refresh the transactions, and then I'll have my numbers to reconcile before I then verify it. And then that's done. So the aim is over time that each period you come up to, you'll be jumping into here, and you're basically making your way down the list of accounts you want to verify at each BAS period, or if you're doing management reporting, you're going through and just verifying what these numbers look like. And you might find the something's extra complex, you might have to dump something to Excel, then you can link back into here as your verification. All right, so that is how to use the Account Reconciler tool in a nutshell. Now, to clarify, again, this is beta. There will be the odd things that misbehave on the odd occasion, but it should be fairly minimal. We'll do some new updates every night over the next few days, I would say. Beyond that, this is blue means it's not verified yet, green means it is, and red means it was, but is not anymore. So you've got that information here. Otherwise, make sure you set your clearing method. Balance is for things like equipment finance. Clearing is for all other type of clearing accounts, and you can update them through the cog. And you can also go up to here and set up new ones from here, as many as you like. Now, if you do have any questions along the way, we will have the help file up and running anytime, any moment now. Otherwise, just email us at support@account-kit.com, and then we can help you with any problems you may have. Our hope is to have this out of beta by, I would estimate, either end of December or end of January, when we feel super comfortable that all issues have been 100% addressed. But look forward to seeing some feedback, and thanks again for your support. Have a wonderful Christmas. Cheers.